is about to start. We'll talk about code or whatever we'll talk about today. It's about to start, so please hang tight while I check that everything is okay. Sound check, camera check, lights check. How's my hair? Oh, wait, I don't have any hair. Maybe put some pants on and I am good to go. So get ready wherever you are, 'cause this stream is about to start. Get ready wherever you are, 'cause this stream is about to start.
All right, how's it going, everybody? We're here. It's Friday. How's your Friday, or something? Or maybe you're watching this later. I don't know. I don't make the rules. So I got Leandro with me as always on this side. How you doing, Leandro?
Hello, Arya. It's great to be here, and thanks for having me on your channel. I'm looking forward to doing some mixing, hopefully. We will have to get to some technical issues before we can do the mixing. Or we may have to get to some technical things before we do the mixing, but I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, when I used to stream my mixing live, it was definitely a pain, and then like at one point it just I just couldn't do it. Like the more kind of into the mix I got. So we'll see. Maybe like if we see that everything's lagging, there's a few things we can do. We can turn our webcam off. You know, things like that.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Well, for once, I did my homework. That's unusual. So
cool.
I guess we can start by just giving this a try. We'll see if my computer can handle streaming and playing all of this at once. So what I did not do before I started mixing the song was freezing MIDI and rendering stuff to audio and gluing items. So I didn't do any of that because my computer was handling it fine. Now that we started streaming, my computer is struggling a bit, but we'll see. So I guess a low-hanging fruit is, if things don't go too well, I can always just freeze a lot of stuff and glue a lot of things. Like all the pitch correction is happening live. All the MIDI is being triggered live. And well, anyway, let's just give this a try. And we are working on the song that we were working on last week. And now I did a rough mix. I still have things that I know that need to be done. But let's just give this a listen and see where we want to go. I'd like to do a song of great social and political import. This is a song about people in their third shower of the day. A song about people who shower before and after going out. This is a song about you. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. It's better for the environment. It's better for your electric bill. It's better for your skin. It's better for your time. Just try it, and you will see that you need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. Yes, I too know people who go overboard with this, they stink. But don't be so afraid. Once a week may be too little, but dare I say, once a day may be too much. Unless you've been exercising, or it's been a really hot day. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. As you do. Hey.
Cool. It wasn't like not struggling, but it didn't struggle as much as I had thought. I also just always like free stuff just cause like as a way to commit to it and move on to the next stage. Cause otherwise I'm like, ooh, what about a F sharp or whatever the hell?
That has not happened to me. So I'll share with you my experience doing this. This is the first time I tried a project so big. So I did not struggle with like, oh, I want to change some note or some part. I'm using for the drums the Labs instrument, and maybe there is a way to route each part of the drum kit to different tracks. I didn't even look into that because I didn't want to do that. It's already pretty good, so all I had to do was in a couple places, like I wanted to hear a bit more of the snare, I just selected the snare and increased the velocity just a tiny bit. So I feel like that is okay. It's not the biggest deal. Other than that, I didn't go over anything and changed. I don't remember, having changed anything major. I did do some things differently, like previously I had effects, delay effect to do this part. Go import. But it was so hard to get the delay to do what I needed exactly, so I just went here and I put the track, 2 new tracks, and decreased the volume of the repeats. So I did the delay by hand. This sort of thing, which I guess kind of it's more like editing than mixing, but it's also because I wasn't getting the mix the way that I wanted, the effects the way that I wanted. But other than that, I learned that one of the things I was doing to almost every track, and certainly the most important ones, was gain staging, because I am using some plugins that probably will work better if they are around -18. And I did that. But the problem is, if you put everything at -18, that's, at least it wasn't for me, enough headroom. So you see throughout the vocals are clipping here. Of course, that's okay on the master. They're being taken care of. But I found myself in many places just going over by huge amounts. In fact, I even had to come here into that setting. I forget where it is, but the auto mute, I had to turn it off.
Yeah.
Because it was really over. Now I have auto mute only on the master, because in some places I was going over 18 dB, which is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And
that's too much.
Yeah, so I learned that gain staging everything to -18 is not enough headroom, or at least I didn't find it enough, so maybe I am doing something wrong, who knows. I also learned that I'm okay with not freezing stuff. I kind of will commit anyway. And yeah, I found myself sometimes fighting my previous decisions. Like I would put a compressor somewhere, and then I would be like increasing or decreasing the volumes of stuff super aggressively because I wanted to hear them, but the compressor was bringing it down. So I was running in circles at some points. I guess it boils down to I wasn't too strategic about things. I just started with a section and I thought, what is the most important thing? The vocals. Okay, I will do the vocals. And then I tried to bring stuff in and I was fighting the previous decisions. So maybe I would benefit from being more disciplined about the steps, like do all the gain staging for everything.
One note about minus 18. So I'll start my point with a pop quiz. If you have two sine waves and they're both at minus 18, how loud would the master be? Say they're different. They're different frequencies and there's no like phase situation happening between them there.
Okay, to answer that real quick, I have to first take the minus 18, which is in dB, and convert to gain. So the formula for that is 10 to the power of minus 18 divided by 20. But now you're saying that you want two of this, and you're saying that you want to take the log of that. So that's the formula. And apparently doesn't know how to do that. Okay, minus 11. That's my answer. Minus 12, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so the rough calculation of it is 6 dB. Like forget about the little bit extra. So when they say like do everything to minus 18, it's a rule of thumb that works really well for a 4-element kind of band, right? You got vocals, guitar, bass, drums. If everything's at minus 18, the sum of them will be near zero. Will be pretty loud. You may occasionally clip like once or twice, and that's fine, as you said, right? So clipping, if any of your tracks is consistently clipping really near like zero, like that's bad. You need to bring that down. But you know, like whatever you do in any mix, you'll clip a couple of times. You'll put a limiter on it. It's not a big deal. So yeah, so the 18 rule I think is like a very loose rule of thumb that is good for like a classic, very kind of minimal song that has a bass, has some chords, has a lead, has some percussion. So your song is a little more complicated than that. So that's one point from the stuff you said. So you can go down like a lot more. I think the minus 18 rule is nice. When you record, you should keep that in mind. All that stuff, but like yeah, like you can totally think of minus 24, minus 30, because the same way that like a clip or two is not a big deal, if also your balance is good and you know everything just needs to go up 6 dB, well that's similarly easy with a limiter. So maybe, you know, given the number of elements in your track, you can shoot for a lower number, maybe like 24, which leaves for one extra, a fifth element, right? And that's again just going loosely by 6 dB, not really doing the proper calculation, right?
Okay, so with okay, I want to explore the mathematics of this real quick because it's interesting. So if you have two elements, it adds up to this, and if you have like a 5-piece band, then that's acceptable. But in my situation, I may have like 10 things happening, and that's clipping. But if I was at minus 24, then that would be okay. Okay.
So yeah, that's
that
the
makes
reason.
sense.
And then you just bring it up 4 dB, right? Like it's not like a huge deal there.
Yeah. So I guess
I really like.
So I guess one way to reason about this is that I am using some plugins that will work better when they are near minus 18. So I guess one way to reason about this is I would do the gain staging of that part to minus 18, process using the compressors and saturators and whatnot. Then to combine it with other things down the line, I could put another gain and bring it down from minus 18 to minus 24. Or I could
Yeah,
do that on
totally.
the bus. I could also just have everything going to the bus and clipping, and on the bus I can bring everything down together.
Yeah, and again, like consistently clipping, I think is something you should try to avoid. But like, I would say per track, 10 clips, you're fine. More than that, you gotta like think of some other decisions, like or some other ways of giving it like bringing the peaks down but keeping the RMS up. I also really like the Dan Worrell approach. Not that it's a Dan Worrell approach. It's a very old approach, but like kind of having an anchor element, right? And that could be your vocals or it could be drums or whatever, where you set that to a level where it's not clipping. Maybe there are no peaks louder than just throwing a number out there. Maybe -4 for drums. So you make sure there's no peak louder than -4 dB for your drums, and that it like is hitting like around -23 lufs or whatever. And then you use that as your anchor track. You don't make anything louder than that. If anything gets louder than that, you bring it down. So you use that as like your way of saying tethered to a good level. But I think also like overall, like think balance more than level at the first stage of mixing, right? So one thing I'm noticing, for example, and again, this is like completely to taste and all of that, but your back vocal elements are they're like they're audible. I don't know. Some of the instruments I feel like kind of get drowned by like all the other elements. So like the first thing to think of is just balance. Just making sure everything is heard at the level it needs to. The orchestral percussions that you got maybe slightly loud. Your hi-hat on the drums is somewhat louder than I like it, but I also have a sensitivity in that frequency region that so maybe you shouldn't listen to me. And for labs, yeah, you can't route to different tracks, but you can always split the MIDI notes into multiple different tracks. And then everything that goes to kicks goes to passing a note to me. Okay. What about air in my current level? Yes.
Well, that's another thing, actually. You mentioned how you can separate the MIDI into multiple tracks. And in the drums track, I have only one MIDI item for driving the whole drum kit. And for things like strings, I have one track per instrument. And you're saying that I could do to this track what I have here, but I actually found that I think I prefer to have it the other way around. And even on this situation here where I have many instruments, I think I would rather have one track with one MIDI item with events for different channels. The way that you taught me how to do different articulations, I think I would like to expand that to different instruments and have just one item. Because having folders and then having to, especially when I was writing this, it was so painful to have to go to different items to put one note. And there are places where I'm just layering the same part. I would have to copy and paste. So annoying.
What I do for string quartet or for a string section is I write the whole thing on a like essentially you make one track that you write everything on, and then you can send it to different channels. But even like before I like start bothering with that stuff, I just have like a very loose VST that is the full string section. Then I split them out and put them. So the same thing with the drums, like writing the drums with kick on a separate track and snare on a separate track, super annoying. But now that you're at the mixing stage, if you do want to mix your kicks separately and your snare separately, you split them out at this stage. But yeah, like when you're songwriting, writing MIDI on different tracks for the same instrument is just not great.
Fair. That makes sense. Okay, so you did mention some things that you would like to address, and I have something. I don't know if you noticed this and didn't bring it up, or if you did not notice this, maybe it's not an issue. But what I noticed is that there is there is some compressor somewhere that's working too hard, and I can hear the instrumentals pumping with the vocal in a way that does not sound good. So I think I overcooked the compression somewhere. Did you notice that?
I did not. But also, like, I mean, so I guess you tell me this first. Like, what stages did you take towards mixing, and where in the mix do you think you are now? Like, are you in the middle? Are you at the end of the first draft? Like, what? Yeah, where would you say you are?
I would say that I have a first draft, but I would also say that I am sick of this song, so I'm probably not going to polish it too much. So we are going to do whatever we have the time to do today, and I will call it quits because I am just so sick of this song. I have been working on it for so long now.
Sure.
Yeah, so I'm not striving for perfection on this one. I just want to get it out and make it better than it is now, and then work on something else.
And yeah. So let's find this compressor then.
Really? Do you want to address the compressor first, or the backing vocals and other drowned stuff and the tune percussion being too loud?
I guess it all boils down to like the amount of time you want to spend on it. So like, you can always like bypass basically all the effects and start from the balance one more time. Just reset your brain and reset the mix. You can always save this current state as like a snapshot. So that you can come back to it, or you can do a save as or whatever. But like a good resetting of the brain is always good if you feel like, oh, I'm stuck. Or if you're saying like, if you really like the balance, if everything is as loud as you want it to be, because that's just my opinion, right? Like I like backing vocals a lot quieter, and I like, I don't know, strings a bit louder, but that's me. If you like the balance of your song, then what we can work on is maybe like, yeah, like kind of like maybe gluing them together, like the instruments, right?
Yeah,
Like
I am okay with the levels of like what you mentioned, the backing vocals and the strings. I can understand that the tune percussion may be too loud, so we can address. I guess let's not throw out the whole thing that I have here. Let's just make it better by small increments in terms of balance, and then maybe the pumping will take care of itself just by whatever else we do here. Maybe it won't, and then we look into that.
So one thing with balancing is like, say there's a compressor somewhere, right? If you rebalance stuff and then it turns out you're going to get rid of that compressor, where your balance will be back to a different thing, right? So if you do have a compressor that's like causing some pumping that you don't want, it's best to find it and bypass it, at least for the time being. I'm not saying like get rid of it, but if something is like, and your ear, like once it latches onto an issue, like it gets really nitpicky, especially when we're trying to like listen analytically. So if you have something bugging you, you got to get rid of that first,
Yeah, that makes sense. So I will bypass a bunch of bus compressors, and I bet that will be the thing to blame. I also bet that because I am doing so many wrong things in the rest of the mix here, when I bypass these compressors, the whole thing is just going to be crazy. But
that's okay.
Yeah, we'll
New
see.
Morning Records says, can we hear it? He played it a while ago, but yes, we're going to hear it again.
Yeah, we are going to hear it again without... I think I turned off all the bus compressors. So let's see. I have one in the master. I have one in my vocals. Where is it? Here, I got that one. I have one in the whole instruments bus, and it's there. And this thing is going to be crazy if I don't control the levels beforehand. So I also bypassed that. Oh, and there was something, speaking of balance, that was kind of interesting and tricky. I was finding that the vocals were having a hard time being heard. So what I did is I put the whole instrument in one bus, and I just did this. I carved out the mid-range, and that helped a lot. But I don't think it's a very good strategy. It seems like a patch. But it worked.
It's not bad. It's not a bad strategy. There's definitely like a lot of people like Sheps. I'm blanking on his first name.
Andrew?
Sheps likes to. Andrew Sheps, yes. Andrew Sheps likes to like have an all instruments processing. You can compress all instruments. You can do like, and this is like a very top down approach, right? Like Kenny likes is you start from the top thing, and maybe the thing you're doing is too extreme. And if you catch something that is like being too extremely mid scooped, you can always then like copy that effect one level down and then go level by level through it. But yeah, like, I mean, if cutting the mid like got your vocals where you wanted, right?
Okay. All right, so let's play. I'd like to do a song of great social and political import. This is a song. Now the vocals are way too loud. Do you agree?
I think it's also the other, right? Like, I don't think it's your mains. I think it's just that first line that comes in. I'd like to, track 8.
I'd like to do a song of great social and political import.
And it's the S's. It's there. The S's are so sharp and you know.
I'd like to do a song of great social and political import. I'm not bothered by the S's. I usually hate S's, but I'm not bothered by these ones. I think I have a DS here.
Yeah, but like, I mean, what I mean is, it's like the reason it's clipping without being super loud. That happens when there's like lots of high end. It's not enough like energy to like feel loud, but it's just like when you look at it in terms of peak, it's going.
I'd like to do a song of great social and political import. I'd like to do a song of great social and political import. Okay, that will do. What do you think?
Let's play it.
I'd like to do a song of great social and political import. This is a song about. I'd like to do a song of great. And by the way, I don't think it's time to revisit this decision. This thing is clipping like crazy. I don't think we should worry about this, because if it's too loud, then let's bring it down. But I for this one, I learned a lesson. I'll give it more headroom next time. I will not worry about the clips.
You can always put a limiter on tracks too.
Yeah, but then that is going to affect the balance. Everything is clipping. So let's just pretend that 0 is plus 10 today.
Sure.
Is there an easy way to do this? No, I don't think there is, because it's going to affect the processing downstream. So yeah, I could maybe just bring all the faders down a little bit, but that's going to affect the mix bus processing. So yeah, let's just pretend that plus 10 is 0. I learned my lesson. I'll be better next time.
Sure.
I'd like to do a song of great social and political import. This is a song. Another thing that I had to do a lot that I'm not sure I'm too happy about was I had to automate the volume of almost every track, as you can see. I don't know if this is standard practice or if it's just me goofing up again.
It's no problem.
Okay.
I think volume. If you have to like ride every track, like every line, you know, that's something that you can probably do more efficiently. But just like between a verse and a chorus, totally normal.
Okay. I'd like to do a song of great social and political import. This is a song about people. third shower of the day. A song about people who shower before and after going out. This is a song about you.
So on this verse, I feel like my like that guitar line do 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 is great, and you're kind of doubling it with that orchestral percussion sound. But I think the orchestral percussion sound is like way louder than the guitar, and to me, like the guitar is the star of that part, and it's kind of like it's cool. I like it because it's like a juxtaposition of a very like surf rock, like desert cowboy music sound on the guitar, and then like the orchestral elements. So and this is completely subjective, of course, but I would let the guitar be the like louder element there, and the tuned percussions just kind of like in the back, or doing
fair.
like a canon with the guitar. Do 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 do. That's more arrangement.
Political import. This is a song about people in their third shower of the day. A song about people who shower before and after going out. This is a song about you. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often. Now the vocals are going to be loud for, I guess, the whole song probably, because that was probably why it was pumping. This was too loud to begin with, and the compressor was like working to push.
Overworking.
Yeah, to push it down. So
how many compressors do you have on the mains?
I have, well, two of them, I suppose. Yeah.
I mean, one thing you can do, you were saying, like, is there a way to bring it down 10? So, I mean, you can always do it at the item level. You can bring the item level down, and that does affect how it hits compressors. But to me, it's always easy to recalibrate that by just kind of adjusting the threshold. But yeah, like you can take all your items on the vocals and just bring them down a bunch, and then recalibrate the.
But hang on, what you're saying is that I could do this at the source, but I already calibrated. One thing that I did right, I think, was that I did the gain staging, so you can see here me adjusting the volume so that it would be at around -18. And then I have all my other stuff here that I was just playing around with. But everything in here is calibrated. So if I was to do any kind of change, I would do it here at the end of the chain. Because all the processing I like, I just think that it's too loud. Does that make sense?
So yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you do it there.
Okay. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower.
Are these 2 meters, one in, one out? Like
left
the
and
2
right.
meters that are next to each other? Oh, left and right. Okay. Well, you were a lot above 0 too there. So you weren't at 18.
No, not on this one. So I was on this one. I am supposed to be at around -18. You don't need to shower as often as you do.
Even there, you're pretty loud.
Yeah, I guess I'm a bit in the red here. I probably calibrated this somewhere else in the song, I suppose. I don't know. I'm a little bit in the red, but on this one, I wasn't looking at the meter. On this one, I was just listening for the balance. I just threw this in as a kind of volume utility.
Yeah, but I mean, like if you wanna like stage the gain, right? Like the in should be 18, and then go through the effects that have 18, and then the out could be just 18, and that way you compensate for whatever like volume boost is there, or you can always just like bring it down a little more as well.
Yeah, what I did was I kind
if
of...
my song is dense enough, I make the reference level like 24, you know.
That would have been a good point way back when I started this, but at this point, the way that I'm reasoning about this is I'm at -18 here, or maybe a little bit hotter, who knows, but I was trying to do the gain staging here, then do all the processing, and then this guy, I put it here, I remember putting it here, was because I had so much stuff wrong that I just thought, well, I need to bring this up. You can see that this is pushing up, right? So I need to bring this up. I could use the fader to do that, and I guess now I'm using the fader to fight that decision. But anyway, I could use the fader to bring it up, but I thought, well, I probably want it throughout the track, and I probably will want to maybe automate or change this, so I might as well do a static gain here and then automate whatever I need to do there. That was the thought process, just to get it in the place. Now I'm in a situation where I just want to patch stuff to get this out. And I'm learning the lessons for next time. But so, in other words, don't pay attention to this meter now. It's just a utility plugin to change the volume.
Okay.
Okay, anyway, vocals were too loud, I think. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. It's better for the environment. It's better for your electric bill. Okay, now that you said that the hi-hats are too loud, I'm getting annoyed by the hi-hats. Probably because of your suggestion, but now I think they are too loud. So
I also think, do you hear that the hi-hats are fighting something? I think hi-hats are fighting something quite crucial, but I want to quiz you on it.
Well, let's see what I'm doing to the hi-hats. I think that the thing to blame is probably this boost. Let's hear the hi-hats and fix this, and then I'll try to pass your quiz. But you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower, but I think it's better. And what is the hi-hat fighting? Well, again, the pumping was happening on some hi-hats. The pumping that I mentioned in the beginning, the thing that I disliked the most about the results so far. But you seem to be hinting at it fighting a particular other part, like maybe fighting the guitars that usually are in this range. Perhaps even the vocals.
Yeah,
I don't
the
know.
acoustic guitar. Yeah, the acoustic guitar, to me, when the hi-hat and the acoustic guitar are going together, from the acoustic guitar, all I hear is the picking, and I don't actually even hear the chords. I almost hear like, you know, which is a nice sound, but I think, I mean, it all depends on like what you want out of the acoustic guitar.
I wanted the acoustic guitar to be
like
just
a harmonic roll.
Yeah, no. Here in the beginning, of course, the acoustic guitar is prominent, and of course, I wrote the song in the acoustic guitars.
And it sounds great.
Sorry?
The intro and outro guitar, they sound wonderful.
Oh, excellent. Anyway, so the intro, and of course, in some parts here in this chorus, the acoustic guitar is more important. It's doing just arpeggios. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower. Do you hear on the right? So
it's quite buried too.
Yeah, but it was a bit more important there. But the open chords here, they are not major. They are there, but they are not like the driving thing. And I'm okay with kind of just having that scratchy sound you mentioned. It's more or less what I was going for there. And I do have other things carrying the arrangement in this part, like we're talking about this chorus, right? So I have a lot of other guitars going on, and there is also the piano just saying
I'm
this is the chord.
talking about verse 2.
Oh, here? Okay, let's hear this. Oh, here I have the piano that is doing some work, and the woodwinds. Environment. No, not the woodwinds. The woodwinds are just highlighting the 7th. Let's hear. The environment is better for your electric bill. It's better for your skin. It's better for your time. Just try it, and you will see. Yeah, I care about the acoustic guitars over here, and I guess over here they are showing up.
Okay.
So that doesn't bother me too much, I don't think. Okay, and did we tame the tune percussion? Let's hear this part where they show up, and maybe also these two parts. It's better for the environment. It's better for your electric bill. It's better. Okay, I'm okay with the ta-na-na-na-na.
To me, the hi-hat is still loud though.
It is? Okay. If I just bring this down completely, then I will at least not be making it... I won't be making it worse. Then as you do, it's better for the environment. It's better for your electric bill. It's better... Let's take a moment.
Like that line, like the guitar goes like do do da 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 da. I wasn't hearing that until this moment. I just heard that line.
I can also try to attenuate. Let's hear what that sounds like if I attenuate some of the highs. Better for your skin. It's better for your time. Just try it. It's better for your electric bill. It's better for your skin. It's better. Okay, I think that is as far as we need to go. What do you think?
Yeah, much better.
Okay. So, some of the orchestral stuff you said was kind of drowned in the mix. We may want to look at that. Like strings. Let's hear this part where...
Strings are okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's hear that.
Shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you. That you need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower.
Definitely, honestly, all I hear from your string is the first violins. Like that did it. I wasn't hearing that stuff until you soloed them. And I mean, that's fine because you need to make some decisions. Like some things won't be, super prominent. It's totally like not negotiable to hear everything like crisp.
Yeah, in this part, I think I was more interested in making the vocal and maybe some of this stuff here that is happening, like this call and... This is the chorus with the call and response thing, right? That you need to shower, but... Yeah, I wanted to get this through, and I probably threw the strings under the bus because of that. But I guess it wouldn't hurt to just give 1 or 2 dB more to this section. Let's try. See that you need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often.
Yeah, I hear.
Yeah, I like it. Okay, so we covered all the points that you brought up. Do you want to give this another listen and then maybe try to do some of the bus processing, or maybe just decide not to bring back the bus processing?
Yeah, let's check it out.
Oh, at this point, is this the point where you would listen to like a reference track to clean your ears? This kind of thing that people talk about? Is this something you do?
Do you feel right now that your ears are dirty?
No, it's just that I read people saying that they do that, and I don't know. Is this something that you often do? When you're in the middle of the mix, you go and listen to a reference track?
Yeah, Yeah, it's a good way to rest, and it's a good way to like recalibrate. Because like one thing that happens is like with that hi-hat sound, right? I know that my brain really like latches onto a hi-hat sound, then it starts to over annoy me. So all I gotta do is go listen to like another track, and then I'm like, okay, like this is where the hi-hat is at. Or if you feel like you turn something down and then 2 minutes later you turn it back up and then 2 minutes later you turn it back down, that means like that means it's time to like because your brain is like optimizing things without telling you that it's doing them. So yeah, when stuff like that happens, of course, on a stream you can't listen to a reference track.
That's what I was going to ask you. I was going to ask a tall order if you had any songs, probably by you, that were in some way similar to this that we could play. Because if it's your song, then it's fair game, right?
Yeah, I just don't know if my song, with a reference track, I want to listen to something that's like perfect, and I don't know if my music is at that level to be a reference track. Not that it needs to be perfect. Again, it just needs to like take you out of the current, brain.
Yeah, what I was
like
using
your current.
When I was doing this, I'm reading this book on mixing. I think the name of the author is Mike from Sound on Sound, the person who does the Mix Rescue. He has this book on mixing, and I'm reading the book, and he makes a big point of doing this, of going to reference tracks and then recalibrating, like how loud should the hi-hat be, that sort of thing. So when I was playing around with mixing this, I was listening to, as a reference, a track that I absolutely love that is super busy, and that's kind of the vibe that I was going for here in terms of business, which is Scholars by Beck. And that one got a Grammy, so it's probably good enough to be a reference track.
Yeah, it's probably good, yeah.
And I don't want to play that here, though. Do you have something else that you think we could play, or do you want to just skip that?
Yeah, let's, I guess, like... I mean, you can honestly even listen to like the stream is about to start. But like, yeah, I mean, if you don't feel like you need a reference track right now, you probably don't.
Okay.
Somebody says maybe your ears need a shower.
Hey-o! Oh, and so far, at least on my side, I'm not hearing clicks from you, which means that my computer is holding up okay.
Yeah, I guess let us know in the chat if you're hearing clicks and weirdness, but yeah, sounds fine to me.
Oh, there you go. So if that's the case, then I'm happy. I'm happy not to have to go to the tracks and freeze them and whatnot. Let's hear this one more time. And I will be taking notes of stuff that I don't like. You all do the same at home. Then we share notes. I'd like to do a song of great social and political import. This is a song about people in their third shower of the day. A song about people who shower before and after going out. This is a song about you. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. It's better for the environment, it's better for your electric bill, it's better for your skin, it's better for your time. Just try it, and you will see that you need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. Yes, I too know people who go overboard with this. They stink. But don't be so afraid. Once a week may be too little, but there I say, once a day may be too much. Unless you've been exercising, or it's been a really hot day. Everybody now, you need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. As you do. Hey. Okay, I have my notes.
Okay, what are your notes?
Around here, there is the line, but there I say, and something just happens. I don't know what happened, but it does not sound right.
This here?
Once a week may be too little, but there I say. Yeah, for some reason the line for "but there I say" it sounds like the volume is just jumping up and down. Do you hear that?
Let's hear it one more time.
Once a week may be too little, but there I say, once a day. Yeah, it seems like
like the left channel it gets like a low boost. Yeah, both says low end is a bit boomy. I agree. I also think like just in your like 4K to 10K range, there's so many things that like meld into just so the ride and the Celeste and the picking sound of the acoustic guitar are all kind of like they're just like little sharp pins in my ear. And yeah, the bass guitar, I also noticed that like the bass guitar doesn't have like, especially when you're doing stuff like doony dee dee doony dee, you know, like when you're not just playing the top note of the chord, it doesn't have that character.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Bo, the low end that needs cutting, if I had to guess, would be like the strings low end, because A, they're panned, and B, like they're not super prominent compositionally. So it's something, and you can do it with like mid side EQ where you just cut the side, like cut 100 hertz off the sides. But yeah, like at this point, I'm like, I don't really actually hear the notes that the basses and the cello are playing. So we might as well not have them like muddy the waters of your low end.
Okay. Okay, so I have notes here. This line, but there I say, something
Just
weird is happening.
Automate it.
I guess I will. Then I think that this line here is too loud now. And then I can show you what I mean.
Yeah, that line is way too loud. Exercising,
or it's been a really hot day. Everybody now, you need to shower. Unless you've been exercising, or it's been a really hot day. Everybody now, you need to shower.
I think overall your track 8 is way too loud. So like one reference to listen for something like this would be the song Bukowski by Modest Mouse. Because they have two vocals and one of them is like a megaphone style of vocal, but it's very like far away in the mix. Right now this megaphone thing seems like it's right up in your face, but I think you can bring it down a lot because the brain, like the listener's brain, is always listening for vocal stuff. So you don't need to make vocal stuff really loud for it to be prominent. It can be quite quiet and it would still, like, because of the bias that our brains have, will be like further, will be easier to hear. So I would just like make that be, and I don't know, just in terms of like the image I see in my head, it's almost like the track 8 vocals are like a little bit behind, like setting stuff up. They're not like up front. So up front, I see Leandro playing acoustic guitar and singing, and the megaphone guy is like not front and center. Maybe it's like a little to the side or something.
Okay. So I turned this down. Let's give that a listen. I'd like to do a song of great social and political import. This is a song that once a day may be too much, unless you've been exercising.
And it's very bright.
Or it's been a real. Okay, it's very bright. Let's see. Once a day may be too much, unless you've been exercising. Or it's been a really hot day. Everybody now, you need to shop. I'm okay with the brightness. Okay. Does it bother you? Do you want to tame that?
Brightness always bothers me.
I will make it darker for you. What do we have going on here? Fuck, we have a lot. Okay, I'll go here to my EQ and I will attenuate a little bit. Well, let's hear before and after. Boy, when I'm streaming, the screen is so big, it barely fits this plugin. Unless you've been exercising, or it's been a really hot day. This is not doing anything, is it?
Maybe 10K is still too high.
Unless you've been exercising, unless you've been exercising, unless you've been exercising. Okay, that is darker now. What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think without us losing much. See you later, New Morning Records.
Oh, I am not reading the chat because that's yet another thing for my computer to run. So do you want to read out loud some of the stuff that is relevant?
I read some of the stuff. Yeah, like bass, basically low end is what Bo and Bobs are both mentioning.
Okay.
Yeah, cello's undefined, bass undefined. Toms are undefined. I do like the sound of toms on your drums. I think they sound pretty good to me. But yeah, I think like overall, like cutting the sides off your strings, working on the bass tone. The bass tone sounds a little like dull. And that could be also part of the mid scooping thing that you've done. So I feel like a lot of the sustain of guitars and bass guitars and a lot of those things are in that mid region that you scooped out. So, again, you can always just put a boost in those things and it would essentially compensate.
That's a good point because it was a decision late in the process. So maybe some things benefited from that move, but some things did not.
Maybe just listen to a portion and bypass that one plugin and see what you're losing and then go and compensate for it.
Yeah. Okay, but let's finish this situation here of the loudness of these two tracks. Unless you've been exercising, or it's been a really hot day, you need to shower. Really hot day. Okay, I'm happy with the loudness of these two. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I noticed that you brought it down a bunch, and in terms of like how I perceive it, didn't change anything. I still hear it. It serves its purpose.
Exactly. So now we have the following on the table. The line, but there I say, which we need to automate. I guess we'll do that because it's supposed to be real quick. And then we'll get to the bigger issues of like the bass tone and the low end boominess and even the 4K to 10K range that you brought up, the ride, the celeste, the picking on the guitar and all that. But let's do this line first because it's supposed to be easy. And it was the only line that kind of bothered me too much on the vocals, I guess. But don't be so afraid. Once a week may be too little, but there I say. Yeah, I think that this line. I think
it's the right double, like the right double kind of jumps out in this.
Oh, you think that the right double needs to go up or go down?
No, it's too much. It needs to go down.
Okay. Interesting, because visually, it was supposed to be quieter. But the funny thing is that I cannot quite put my finger on what I don't like about this line. But there I see.
There's a sharp D in it. It's like a Staten Island D. But dare I say, it's like a D with a little bit of a T in it.
Twice a week may be too little. There I see. Yeah, let's just bring this guy down by 3 dB and see if that helps. But there I see. No, I got the wrong one.
You see that D? I actually saw on the bottom track. You see that little thing poking?
Mm-hmm.
Sharp. Inny.
Okay. But there I see. Once a day may be too much. Once a week may be too little. But there I see. Okay, I guess. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you hear, but yeah, that's sharp.
Yeah, I think I'll take this. So now we have low end and high end. Which one do you want to work on first?
Well, they affect each other, but I don't know, low end, I think low end is,
okay,
is a bigger problem.
Yeah, so we have a bass tone and cutting some of the mids, some of the sides on the strings. Let's do the sides on the strings because that's supposed to be easier, right?
Yeah, that's pretty easy.
So all I gotta do is find my strings and I was already taking some of the low end out there. What would be a good plugin for this? I guess ReQ is good for this kind of thing, right? And if I just say mid side, oh, that's for the meter. If I put a bend here with a steep...
Notice you do a lot of stuff without listening to it.
Because I have to do all of the setup. I have to, yeah, I have to click on the buttons here and then I will bypass and listen to it. But first I just want to, yeah, I just want to have it there. So I suppose it will be somewhere around here and I want to affect the sides. So now I can bypass this and give it a try. That's usually how I do most things, actually. I hear something and I think, well, I probably will need to do some gain staging, EQ, compression, and then I just bring all the plugins in, I bypass them, and then I turn them on and go tweaking one by one. It's just easier to do the setup at first. Do you think this is not how you do it?
No, that part is fine. It was some other places where I saw like the Paltech stuff. You were just kind of adjusting and then listening to it. I find that interesting because I like when I'm adjusting, I always kind of feel like the easiest way is to go more than you need and then go back until it's not enough and then kind of triangulating on the perfect setting.
That's something that I do too. Yeah. Oh, one more thing about the gain staging thing that we were talking about in the beginning. So, not for this arrangement here, but for my voiceover chain, the thing that you are hearing right now, I was struggling with a problem, and I think I found out why it is, and I think I found the solution. So, it has to do with gain staging. That's why I'm bringing it up now. And then we'll look at the side of the low end on the strings. But let's take the tangent real quick. The thing is, when I'm setting the gain on the audio interface, I don't want it to clip. So I want to have enough headroom so that it won't clip. And I'm looking at the meter that is like this one, a peak meter. And people say that you should peak at around -12 to -18 to -12, something like that. And I found that even that sometimes is too hot. If I leave it at that, then sometimes I clip. So my peaks are at most -18. They are usually below that. And conveniently with this microphone and this audio interface, it just means that I have the gain all the way up. And even then, I sometimes clip. I guess if I lean forward and speak too loud, then it clips. So anyway, the point is, for gain staging on the audio interface to set the gain on the audio interface, I'm looking at the peak meter and I'm trying to get to -18 on the peak. But then for all the other processing that I do on the voiceover chain, so for all the EQs and compressors and whatnot, and even as the final thing, actually, I am not setting my voice at -16 or something. I'm setting the voice at like something around -18, actually. So, but that's the average. That's the RMS level or the LUFS.
Yeah.
So that means, and that was the thing that was tricking me. I was looking at the wrong meter. I need to look at an RMS meter for that, or at a VU meter. It doesn't matter. But that means that I need to give it more gain because a peak at -18 is not going to be RMS at -18. So I always need to boost something digitally so that I can run all my processing and whatnot. And I guess in the analog world, I wouldn't have to do this part because there is no clipping. If I just let my preamp on the analog world so that on average I'm getting -18 RMS, I will not clip the processing downstream. So the realization was I always need some digital boost in the beginning of the chain as the first plugin.
That's normal because I mean when we're setting recording levels, the aim is not to lose samples because they clipped, right? Because they went over one and we weren't able to obtain them. And then once the recording is finished, then the aim is like the actual perceived loudness. So boosting, I mean, boosting is first of all totally normal, but also there's boosting just by pure gain, or you can like kind of fatten stuff, right? So you can always like just kind of like with a multiband compressor, you will actually usually be bringing down your peak maximums, but you will bring up your RMS values. And I think it also goes to your mic sensitivity as well. So like something like this, I'm not gonna do it right now because my partner has a client, but like I can like the amount of dynamic range in my voice, if I like start yelling or if I like sneeze or something, I'm not gonna clip by a lot. On a condenser, if you sneeze, it's definitely going to clip. So there's like captured dynamic range, and then more sensitive mics capture a wider dynamic range, and then there's the dynamic range kind of inherent in your own voice. But yeah, like if you have to boost your, I mean, I'm boosting like what you're hearing probably by, I can tell you, 4 dB over here, and then probably another 4 dB, yeah, like 8-ish dB I'm boosting. One is at the compressor level and one is just at the beginning.
Yeah, interesting.
And if you like get rid of the sharpest frequencies in your voice, like the S's, you get rid of the S's, you get rid of like the sounds and the sounds that come from P's, your absolute peak level will go down. Then you can give it a huge boost and like you won't clip.
Interesting. That's interesting to me because I have watched probably every video about voiceover chains, and probably every video that exists about it, I have watched it at least once, some videos multiple times. And very rarely people bring this up. They always talk about EQ and compression and blah, 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 but they never talk about just this boost that you have to do in the beginning for everything else to make sense in the first place. And then I thought that I would have to find a gain setting on the audio interface that would make things make sense, but then it was clipping. A weird situation to be in.
Honestly, I mean, I don't want to go on too much of a tangent. So actually, I won't. Let's do the string thing.
No, now I'm curious. What was it? What is it?
I don't know. I just also feel like I don't like chain videos. Like, oh, my secret vocal chain. This bass chain will because it's always like, to me, it's a bit kind of like saying, I don't know, I don't have a good analogy like this, but there must be a good culinary analogy. Like to having like a chain that like, oh, make this chain and it works. And I think also like, I don't know, making YouTube videos, it's hard to have nuance, because as soon as you start explaining, oh, well, like in order for me to show you my vocal chain, you need to understand peaks and RMS and average levels and recording gain staging and mixing gain staging and all that stuff. Everybody that has clicked off. So instead, what like actually gets views is like, oh, well, on your vocal, you make sure to high pass it. And then the 1K to 4K is like important. And then your S's are like at 7K. Right, so you have to kind of make information so palatable, and that's what I honestly think. Like, I think the vocal chain videos and stuff like that, they're good. They're good in that if I go on like 10 of them and I see that they all DS first, well, that's gonna be a good indication. If you're wondering like, oh, should I DS first or DS last, stuff like that. But ultimately, like, yeah, they're not going to give you the full picture, because if they did, like, their videos wouldn't rank in search. The videos that rank in search are like, hey, man, compress this, and then you're done. And then people are like, oh, it's easy. People want to know that something is easy, and that way, and that those videos will be popular.
Perhaps, but I think that there are good videos on this trope,
oh, yeah, there's good, like, Dan Worrell video is good, because it's pretty well explained.
Yeah, Booth Junkie also did a good job, and I find that Podstage is also a good channel.
Yeah, point is, like, the chain is not important. Kind of the jobs are important, right? Like, do this, like this is a job you're doing, and you can do it with whatever chain that you want to do, versus like going like this secret recipe. That's kind of like the KFC. That's my analogy. It's like the 11 herbs and spices These are the, but it's like you know, you mix any 11 herbs and spices, I bet your chicken will taste good.
Okay. All right. Back from the chicken to mid-side EQ on strings. Let's find a place where the strings are playing low notes. The strings are here in... I suppose that on this part, on this chorus, the strings are playing very low notes. Let's hear it.
Hi, Mika.
Yeah, they are playing low notes. So let's see what we have in our EQ. It's bypassing.
Play the whole string too. More, yeah.
This is not the first time that we talk about stereo action on the low end.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot hear that.
So here let's hear it on the mix. So bypass this and unbypass it in the mix, and tell me if you hear it.
You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. That you need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower, but you probably... I don't.
I'll tell you what I hear. So you know, like on cello and bass, right? For you to get to that level of like boom, that boominess, takes a little while, right? So at first you strike the bow, you still don't have lots of low end. Then by the time the bow is like maybe like 25% of the way through the string, then you start to hear this like build up of low end, right? Which can be really powerful on its own, but it definitely starts to cover like the bass. So what I hear when this is on versus when this is on is nothing to do with the string sound itself, but like an overall kind of like extra level of clarity in everything else that thing was being in the way, because it was like kind of coming and going without having, because we're hearing that boom, but we're not hearing the definition of the cello, right? So we're seeing, you know, like you're seeing, it's almost like, I don't know why I'm all trying to look for analogies, but like, you know, in the periphery of your vision, you can see like a coat hanging on the wall and you're like, ghost, right? So it's a bit like that. Like we're hearing something, but that it's not tied to the rest of that thing's identity for us to be like, oh, that's a cello. It just sounds like an overall, and then when that's gone, you're like, okay, I'm not hearing that anymore, you know? So it's almost like you can't hear it because it's the absence of the thing. It's something that like used to be barely there and now it's just not there. Great.
Okay. So with that in mind, I will try again. Probably don't need to shower as often as you do. That you need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. That you need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower. If I can hear that, it's very slight, but I'll take it. I'll work on that.
To me, it was just this like low end that had no identity, and still, I mean, we should work on the bass guitar too. I think the bass guitar tone can be a little more exciting, maybe.
All right, let's go there. I am not doing a lot to the bass. It's DI, of course. And why do I have retune here? Oh, to tune the actual instrument. And then I did some gain staging, EQ, the Pultatech trick. I am playing around with this EQ a lot.
Pultatech at 100? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I really like how... I guess I like the visualization on things. Of course, you know that because I'm working so hard on doing JS effects that help you see stuff. But for whatever reason, I kind of like this because it's not parametric. I don't have to do sweeps and find frequencies and all of that. It just takes the stress out.
Your choices are limited.
Yeah, I boost. Yeah. Do I like it? No. I attenuate. Do I like it? No. I change a little bit here. Oh, okay, I like that. And I move on to the next control. So I guess for broad strokes, I really like this workflow. Of course, if I hear a resonance or if I hear like one thing that I want to get rid of, then I will go for a parametric EQ. But other than that, I'm liking this one. And then I compress, and that's it. Maybe you want to, they want to play around with like maybe putting some kind of amp.
So solo the bass.
Shower as often as you do. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do.
Yeah, like to me it just kind of lacks, like it gives me the note, but it doesn't give me any like definition. It's almost like it could be any instrument. You know what I mean? It could be like it could be a sine wave that you modulate the level of, and like in the context of the mix, that's the part of it that kind of comes through. So the way, I mean, I'll tell you kind of how I think about it, and you tell me if it's helpful to you. Like you're boosting the 100 hertz with the Pultatech trick on the bass, but to me, I never had trouble hearing the 100 hertz range to begin with. I have trouble hearing like 300. I have trouble hearing like 700 on the bass. You know what I mean? I have trouble like hearing the finger hit the string. So in a way, it's kind of like you're boosting the part that I never needed help hearing to begin with as like the listener.
That's interesting because
and it makes it like, yeah.
It seems like the vision that I had for the bass is completely different. I was playing in a way that minimized what you are bringing up. I was playing near the neck and without a pick, and I was trying to be super careful to make the note as round as possible. So I guess as colorless as possible as you probably think. And then in the processing, I was also doing that. The whole region that you're bringing up, I took it out on purpose because I was not liking what I was hearing there. So I guess this sound may be bad, but at least it was intentional.
So, but in the context of the mix, do you feel like the bass is like, do you think it's boring? To me, it's like in the context of the mix, the bass is a little uninteresting, especially like when you're saying like doom doo doo doo. I feel like it's doing its job, but go to the part where you say unless you're exercising and then solo the bass there.
Unless you've been exercising or it's been a really hard day.
See, that part I want to hear more interest. So yeah, like the top notes, totally with you. And like for the style that you're doing, you know, if you listen to, I don't know, to me this is very like Neil Diamond-y. Am I saying their name right? No, Neil Young. Who the fuck is Neil Diamond? I think that's a person too. But Neil Young-y, and yeah, the bass is like very round. But then whenever like the bass player like moves up the neck or down the neck, however you conceptualize it. It needs to be a little more interesting in those areas, especially like go to measure 77. That one's a little like ballsy.
Yeah, I like.
I want to hear that. Yeah.
Okay, so do you want to tweak what's already here, or do you want to bring something else? Because we could add some kind of amp that would add more harmonics to this, and then we would hear more of this stuff that you're talking about. Or we can just try to
Yeah, I was
back
gonna
off on my
suggest
moves.
saturation. I was gonna suggest saturation.
Okay. What do you think we should go for here?
I don't know what you have, so so you tell me.
What would you use for this?
I mean, honestly, these days I've gotten no. I guess depends on how you look at it. Like, I'm really trying to like master Saturn. So
Okay.
I know you don't have that. But also other saturation things that I'm thinking about. The oral exciter, but I don't think you have that.
No.
Do you have anything that does like multi-band saturation? You can look at that, or you can just find like you know, a lot of people like split their bass and then they send the high end just to a guitar amp.
Yeah.
And the low end they keep.
Psyche has something that does multi-band saturation, but I forget the name. We could play around with that.
Multi-band Ravager. That sounds like it may ravage things.
Well, it has multiple bands, and it has some stuff that has to do with saturation.
Yeah.
So this may be the guy. I don't know. And I just want to use something by
Bass
Psyche
professor,
because it's so nice. I mean, look at this, the particles. I
So
want to get there
beautiful, yeah.
someday. Okay, and yes, we played around with the bass professor by Sonic Anomaly. I forget the song, but we used it before, and it sounded good.
Yeah.
At least I liked it
It
anyway.
was just the stream is about to start song.
Perhaps, yeah. Okay, let's give a part of the song where the bass is more prominent, I spin. Well, also we have to learn how this works. So we have release ratio, input gain, distortion gain, and gate level. So I guess...
Gate? Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I guess the
Or I
gate...
guess, oh, I see. Like, it has, like, I guess the gate is for, it's not to give you, like, lots of feedback when nothing is playing. The free saturator is good. Yeah, I think we tried it on another mix even with you.
So probably...
drive, yeah, so it's like a drive.
Probably if I bring this down, it's going to saturate more, right?
I don't know. Let's hear
Well,
it.
it stands to reason that that's what would happen. This is a song about people in their third shower of the day. A song about people who shower before and after going out. This is a song.
You know, so one thing about Psyche is as soon as you have this open, now I'm hearing a lot of clicks and laggy things. So I don't even hear what you're, or I don't even, yeah, it became harder to see what's up because of the graphic.
Well, let's go to the next one. So maybe not a JS effects. Let's just bring
Mika
in...
says Melda saturator, yeah. That I
Yeah,
think
let's
always sounds
give
good.
this a spin. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower.
Now it sounds like a, you know, now it sounds like a Fender bass. Like it, I know that's too much, of course.
It's better for your skin. It's better for your time. Just try it, and you will see that you need to shower. Exercise, or it's been a really hard day. Everybody now, you need to shower, but you probably...
That sounds pretty good.
I'd like to do a song of great social and political import. This is a song about people in their third child.
One trick is like make the saturation pretty crazy. Then once it's pretty crazy, bring the dry wet amount down. You can give that a try. Mika says tune the harmonics. I didn't know you could do that on this, but I guess yeah, there's a big section called harmonics in the middle of the plugin.
Oh, nice.
Oh, cool. You can tune them, or is it just the level of the harmonics you can adjust?
Oh, so that I don't have to do the input-output trick I just did? Because that would be handy, to have just one knob to control the whole thing. Let's see. A song about people. Doesn't work that way. Who shower before and
I think it's like basically to give like extra harmonics. So maybe like you know, the second harmonics may get in front of the do 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 do, but like, you know, maybe the third harmonic will be. Well, let's see, the first is your do.
I don't know. I'm not liking this a whole lot, so I'm going to bypass it for a moment.
Okay.
And there is another saturator that I like. I'll give this a try. After going out. Yeah, let's do something warm. Let's do a couple stages of maybe this and that. And so here is me tweaking the plugin without listening to it, but that's just because I want to see what I'm going for, and then I will bypass and play with the volume and everything. It's just an initial setup. This is a song about you. You need to shower. No, not that one. As you do. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. It's better for the environment. It's better for your electric bill. It's better for your skin. It's better for your time. Just try it, and you will see that you need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower.
Because this take like bring down the odd harmonic. Yeah.
Shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. Yes, I too know people who go overboard with this bass stink. But don't be so afraid. Once a week may be too little, but there I say, once a day may be too much. Unless you've been exercising, or it's been a really hot day. I'm not sure I love it. Maybe the Melda saturator was getting us better results. Let's see. Once a week may be too little, but there I say, once a day may be too much.
To me, the M saturator sounds pretty good.
Yep, I'm going with that one. All right, so...
And then here in context.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Unless you've been exercising, or it's been a really hot day. Everybody. I guess... Oh, crap. I lost my touchpad. Let's try to bring it back. No bringing it back. Okay, so things are going to be weird on this screen for a while.
Let's read some comments. Like in the good old days, we used different brands, types of hardware because of the harmonic interaction of the transformers. I used to have this cable that was stepped on, but it's had this like very specific type of just buzz that I really liked. And then one day it just stopped working. But I was like, this is analog, baby, this cable. Um, it would just buzz in a very interesting way. I don't know. It's like, which reminds me of that guy Peter Valek, who's like a crazy sound designer. If y'all haven't checked him out, go check him out. He just kind of likes recording through broken stuff.
That's always a nice idea. All right, so I am back. Is this screen okay for you all? Do you see everything fine?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So yeah, I recovered from the touchpad situation, and we were listening to the bass on this section here, where I do this. Really hard day. Everybody now. Perhaps we can just bring this little section up.
Yeah, that's a good idea too. I still feel like the 100 hertz of your bass can like be attenuated a little bit too. Because again, that part's gonna come through. You know who's fighting it to begin with. Earlier, Bo was saying, take the lows out of the acoustic guitar. I don't hear much in the acoustic guitar, but
okay, we are gonna work on that 100 hertz real quick. Once a week, maybe too little. Do you feel like when you're using Reaper, you're juggling windows? Like every time I want to interact with something, there is a window in front of it.
I know what you mean. That's why I have my little floaty boys, and with those, I think I don't have this problem anymore. So I have, I did it on the Kenny Joya channel. I don't know if you've seen that video of mine, but I have like command option F1 to F8 set to float plugin 1 to 8 on any track. And so I can select multiple track and press command shift and F1, and I'll have plugin 1 on both of them open. Or I can just float like all the plugins for the same track. So that's been working for me. Or like having your mixer visible is nice, because you can just, when you click on the mixer like plugin headers, it just floats. So I can go grab this, grab this, grab this. And there's a preference where you can have the windows cascade, which I don't like. I have them on whatever the not cascade option is. So it just finds a space for it. And whenever you arrange plugin windows, Reaper remembers them for next time. So over time, you can definitely build a setup of that.
Yeah, and I guess it's inevitable because you are opening a new part of the interface. So it does make sense for the new part of the interface to cover what was there before. I really wish that there was some kind of... You know how in Ableton Live, if you just use stock plugins, they all behave? They are all showing everything you need one place.
Yeah.
I love that kind of workflow. Unfortunately, there is no good way for third-party plugins to integrate like that. I really wish was.
But yeah, like with Ableton, so the stocks are awesome, but then working with third-party plugins in Ableton is really annoying because they always float.
Yep.
I mean, in Reaper, you could dock new effects windows that are open, but then if you dock like this Ignite Amps Paltech thing, it will it'll be too big. It'll be like the size won't work. So I think my float hotkeys, I think that's the way.
Fair. Yeah, I think that the way
honestly,
would
like
be to take a time machine.
Open.
I think that we would need a time machine, go back in time, and when Steinberger's creating all of this, we say, hang on, here's what we need. Because, I mean, you could just not have the interface of the plugin and instead have a bunch of sliders. But who wants to use that? I guess what I'm asking for is some kind of like convention in terms of size and integration with the host. Yeah.
Well, there is a thing about that too. So, like, if you go to UI mode on this, where it's all sliders, I bet it looks like a damn nightmare.
Yep.
Right? It's gonna be like, why is there a million parameters here? And honestly, like Paltech interfaces are not great. Like these boosts and attend things right next to each other, you have to like figure out what works with what. I'm not a huge fan, to be honest.
Yeah, it takes watching a bunch of videos to understand that these three parameters are related, and then these three parameters are related, and then these two. It doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
But once you understand it, the workflow is kind of nice. Anyway,
fine.
We were talking about the 100 hertz range on this bass sound. Hang on, something happened. Edit, undo, rescript, run. Okay. Yes.
And a rescript.
Oh no, hang on. I want to read my undo rescript here for a moment. Does it happen to you when you are like, I think I may have... the reason why I'm going into the undo history is that when I clicked on this, I'm afraid that I moved it over.
Yeah, that's a thing. But when you're at the mixing stage, you can lock your left-right movement of all your items so that they never move.
Maybe I should have done that, but I didn't. But I can see here that I have rescript run, toggle track solo, close effects, chain, add parameter, but I don't have a move, so I'm good.
In context, do it in context.
Yes, I too know people who go overboard with this. They stink. But don't be so afraid. Once a week may be too little, but there I say, once a day may be too much. Unless you've been exercising. I think I prefer it this way.
Okay.
Okay. So, anything else that you want to do to the bass?
Actually, like, I don't know. Your tom sounded good to me. Just now, kind of hearing it interact with the bass, I felt like maybe that's also part of your low-end troubles. But I want to hear, like, the chorus of the song now that we made some changes.
But you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. As you do. Hey.
I also like don't get a lot of snareage out of your drums. I feel like your drums are very high end, like very bright in the high end, and not very bright in the not high end. Thank you. English aria.
Okay. Hang on. I guess we have 20 minutes to go, right?
Yeah, let's say that.
Okay, so...
I can stay a little longer if you want.
No, I do want to finish this in 20 minutes. So I think I'm going to pull the plug on the whole drums situation. The whole ride and fighting the Celeste and fighting the guitar pick and even this snare situation. How about we just leave all of that and proceed to the mix bus, or maybe even throw some effects on the master and try to reach the finish line. So
Mika also says your acoustic guitar has rumble. So now that makes Mika and Bo both saying that. So maybe that's also worth a visit.
Okay.
I mean, even on the guitars, like a full like high pass the whole guitar bus if you want to do it super quickly.
Okay, let's do it super quickly. You know what? I'll just bring another one of these guys. They're so nice. But let's hear it. Well, not here, maybe. As often as you do is better for the environment, is better for your electric bill. Okay, how does that sound?
Yeah, that sounded okay to me.
So, do you think I should bring back those bus compressors that I put everywhere?
Up to you. Like hear them, listen to them. Maybe do it one by one.
Okay.
Listen for.
I'll start with what I consider to be the most important, which is right here on the vocal bus. Oh, what just happened? Oh no! What?
Y'all
what
have
is happening?
subs. I'm out here listening with headphones. So with the low end, yeah, lots of people are hearing a lot more than me and you are probably with the low end because Bo's got a sub going. Stuff. And also Mika is saying the toms again. The toms, like I'm to my in my headphones, they sound fine. But yeah, if Mika and Bo are hearing low end in the toms,
they're hearing that there is too much.
Sometimes you can. Yeah.
Okay. How would we fix that? Because we don't have access to the toms in isolation in that plugin.
You gotta separate them to their own tracks.
Oh, that takes forever. I think I'll just live with that.
Okay.
It's good to know, and I probably should have speakers and subs and whatnot, but that doesn't go well with streaming, so...
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Yeah, and I do appreciate the feedback on the toms, but the whole setup would take me the 20 minutes to do. I would need to find another track, and I would need to copy and paste MIDI, and I would need to mess it. I would probably mess it up in the middle, and I need to fix it. And oh no, it's just a logistical nightmare to separate those toms now. Maybe what I can do is just find them in the MIDI, select them across, and bring the velocity down.
I mean, honestly, like the setup for me would take 5 minutes, but I don't know.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it.
No, I won't.
I mean, not even 5 minutes. Honestly, like 3 minutes.
Oh no, it's such a hassle. It's so hard to do. Okay, I will do it. I'm bypassing the bus compressor on the vocal chain. I will go get those toms. Okay, I'll bite the bullet. So drums are here. I can have another
Just duplicate
track.
the track.
I copied all the plugins, but I really just want the instrument. And then I need to copy all the MIDI across, remembering to lock horizontal movement. Then I have 2 instances of this going through. Then I need to find the original one, find the toms in there.
Toms on the labs are weird. I think they are G, A, and B. Maybe I'm wrong because they're not the standard MIDI stuff. Like E and F are rims. Yeah.
I guess it's just this A
Just
and
G
this.
and A.
Yeah. So right click. Oh, but then is it going to select across all tracks? All MIDI items?
Yes.
Apparently yes. Okay, and now I need to go to the other one. And I will need to get rid of everything that is not toms. That should be easy.
filter window is 2 seconds, but you can also just right drag and get rid of them.
Yeah, I just need to find them again. Oh, no, I'm not doing it across all tracks. Oh, crap. See, it would take you 3 minutes.
Because you use a trackpad.
No,
use a mouse, it take you 30 seconds. Trackpads
do you think so? I don't think it's because of that. I
you
think
all
it's
know
just
it.
because I am clumsy around the Reaper interface. But okay, I isolated the toms. Now, what you all want me to do is to get another one of those guys and do some high-pass filtering. Let's listen to a part that is heavy on toms, like maybe around here. Oh, see, that's another thing that when I was mixing this, it happened to me, and it took me about 10 minutes to figure out what happened. I even closed Reaper and reopened Reaper, thinking that it was a bug. I cannot make a time selection. Do you know why?
Because in your locking, your time selection is ticked, but you can right click on it. And
Yeah, because of that. You nailed it you nailed it, but it took me the longest time. Oh, I see toms duplicated here. Huh, interesting. It's not there.
Don't look at the MIDI. Don't look at the MIDI item too much.
Yeah.
Also, when something is a child of another thing, you will see ghost outlines of the things on the stuff.
Oh, fair. Yeah. Okay. You need to shout. You need to shout. This is not working, is it?
I don't know if that's the right track, is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
It is the right track.
It is, okay.
This is not filtering. Let's try something that I trust a lot more. Need to shout you. You need to shout you.
What the fuck? Can you solo the track? I just want to hear that. Oh, I'll tell you why. It's because that track is the child of the other track, meaning it's also sending MIDI up to the original track. So you're hearing the toms again doubled. So you need to not send MIDI, which you can do if you disable the master parent send, then make a manual send and disable the MIDI on that.
Really? There is no way to disable the MIDI on the parent send? That's silly.
Not AFIAK.
Okay. I'll take it. So I want to send the audio and I don't want to send the MIDI. To shout you. You need to shout you.
Again, in this case, in the case of the toms, also you can you can high pass the sides. Yeah, that sounded not bad.
Yeah, I think this will do.
Bo says, now I hear vocals need a high pass. I guess I always assume that people high pass everything, but maybe I shouldn't assume that. Because I thought for sure you'll have already high passed your acoustic guitar too, but maybe not.
So yeah,
are your vocals high passed?
My vocals are high passed. I think they are.
Yeah, I always just assume people do that, right?
Yeah, I'm high passing them at 150. Do you want me to high pass even further? Because I can.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think your fundamental is probably like, this is a song about people. That's probably pretty low. How low would that be? Yeah, that's probably one. I'm not going to throw a number out because you're going to fact check me, but I'm going to say that's probably 170.
I'm not going to. Not today. You get a free pass. Okay, so I did the toms by popular demand. Let's go back to the bus compression and try to ship this in the next 10. I know I should take more time if I want to make this thing better. But I'll make the next one better. And this one is better than the previous one. If you go watch my previous streams, I think anyway, that this song is better than my previous songs. Okay, bus compression. Mixer, voices, vocals, this fellow. And let's get a part where vocals are busy, like here at the end. As you but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. But you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. But you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. Need to shower as often as you do. But you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. I don't know. I don't think it's doing much.
I definitely hear that it's doing something, but it's very subtle because it's like not a super high ratio, right?
Yeah, it's 1.5. But I guess I will keep it. We'll see. I will go now to the next mix buzz over there on the instruments. I'm gonna find it in 5.
think your drums need lots more compression to my ear. Like the drums get like the drums sound fine when like in verses, but in choruses they kind of get lost.
So I also have
maybe
one
something
of
you want, but
I also have one of these over here. Yeah, the truth of the matter is that I don't like the drums very much. Not only on this song, it just
compositionally or mixuationally.
Compositionally, I think that the drums are not the driving thing here. The drums are just there. They are like they are keeping the time, but I don't want to make them too prominent.
Okay.
So over here,
But still a little extra compression.
Let's hear it. Hang on, do I have the right one? I have the drums, blah blah blah. It seems okay. And are the drums playing on this part? They are the green thing. So no. So where are the drums busy? Here. They're doing something here. You need to shower, but you probably don't need
The green
to
is
shower
piano
as
though.
often as you
No,
this green.
that's fine. That's
You need
okay.
to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. Okay, I think that the compressor that is there is doing its job as it should. Maybe do you want to throw another compressor in the mix?
Sure, yeah. I like doing that, even though people say, "Oh, don't do too many plugins." But like, if I make a decision, I do it on a new plugin so that if I later want to revert that decision, I'm like, "Oh, this decision was wrong," and then I take out that plugin. So sometimes I have like 3 EQs on a track, and each of them just has one band in it, just to follow my train of thought. Like, oh, first I thought to do this, then I thought to do this. That was dumb. Get rid of it. Whereas if I do it all on the same EQ, like after a month, I'll come back to it. I don't know which part of the EQ was the thing that I messed up.
Yeah, and people say that you shouldn't have too many plugins, but they also say that you shouldn't overwork any particular plugin. So those things are at odds anyway. Okay.
That's at odds.
What?
Yeah, no, nothing. Yeah, I thought of the same thing.
Okay, I will throw an 1176 before I will listen and then we'll see what we do. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often. No, the kick is all weird now.
It's getting slammed hard. This is, I mean, like you can always bring the like the same thing with the saturation, right? You can kind of overdo it a little bit, then just adjust the dry wet.
As you do, you need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often. You need to shower. There's one kick that is weird. It's not every kick. It's, I guess, this one.
You know why that happens, right?
No, I don't.
Play it. Maybe you'll see it. Play it while looking at the meter. I think you'll catch it.
No, I don't see it.
It's kind of like it happens because like the compressor starts reacting to one kick and then another kick shows up, right?
So if I just make the release faster?
It's like when overall with bus processing, I think longer releases tend to like have less of an obvious effect. So if you're going for a less obvious effect, yeah, like.
Okay. Yeah, this kick. This guy. This fellow is weird now.
Let's hear it.
Yeah. It makes it the whole thing pump.
It almost sounds like the like little hi-hat kind of triggers the thing and then that thing kind of comes in.
So how about we just don't let the kick activate the compressor? Let's see what that does.
Check it out. Yeah, Mika says the snare is very overcompressed. I think, yeah, the snare isn't bringing too much to the table, but maybe that's what you want. You don't want a snare that's slapping the listener across the face, I'm assuming.
No.
What is MG?
It's mid gain, I think.
Oh, okay. I could have had a million guesses.
This is a sidechain thing, so if you want to do that thing where you emphasize the mids to make the compressor work harder on the mids, you can do it here. I don't know. Maybe if we mix it in. Let's see. At 50% with a higher release, I'll take it.
Cool.
I'll leave this. I'll leave this in. But that's not what I was gonna do. I was gonna look at the instruments track. Is there a shortcut to bring up the effects chain for the selected track? I mean, of course there is. But
You have to set it up, yeah.
Okay.
Option and F, I think, is the default.
Select. selected track.
No, it's open effects window, I think, something like that. I think it's Option and F by default.
I'm always afraid to press buttons I don't know, but Option and F. No, that's toggle master play rate.
Oh, you changed it though.
Maybe.
But I think the default is Option and F. It's open effects window on selected track is what you want.
Oh, it's shift. No, that's for show effects browser window. Open effects window.
Or this one is better actually. Toggle show effects chain so you can close it with the same window. Toggle show effects chain windows for selected tracks. No, not that one. The one above it. You got to read the action all the way.
Yeah, I was pondering about this exclamation mark. What's that about?
Because it's every effects chain window on your project. So it may literally crash your Reaper instantly.
Cool. So toggle show effects chain windows for selected tracks. Let's run. Okay, I guess that's what I want. So let me assign a keyboard shortcut real quick. This is already assigned to show hide toolbar docker. What's the toolbar docker? Is that one that lives over here on the top? I don't use that.
Like, you know, whenever you dock anything, that's the docker. So it says toolbar, but it's really show hide docker, like whatever window is docked.
No, it's for the toolbar docker.
Were you reaching for Option and H?
No, I was just pressing F. But yeah, it's this guy. It's this guy.
There's your But okay, now dock your action list and you hit the same hotkey and it will undock that too.
No, there is this toolbar here, and then there is a toolbar when you're editing meeting, but there is just this other notion of toolbars that are this, and then you can dock somewhere if you want, but I never use that.
You can dock any window. Yeah.
So yeah, I can just use F for this because there is no chance that I will care about it. I don't use that. But it doesn't work. Special key. Is F a special key? Of course F is special.
No, you just gotta hit F. You didn't hit F.
I hit F. Rewind the stream. You see a letter F in the box. I hit F.
I will bet you, like, if there's one thing that I don't take shit from nobody is Reaper actions. You definitely did something weird, but F is not a special key. Tab.
Rewind the stream. You will see that I hit F. It was in the little text box, and then I
did something weird.
I clicked on special key and I hit F again, and it worked. It worked. Okay, override mapping.
You did something weird.
Here we are. This is the.
Also, while you're at it, do another thing. Go to action list. Say floating effects. No, sorry. I guess say float effects, not floating. And then go down. Yeah. So you see these actions 1 to 8. Set them to something, a modifier with numbers, and that way you can do the analog thing where you drag your fingers across your numbers and you'll float and unfloat effects. And then you can also, like, if you want to side EQ two things side by side, you can just float effects 1 for 2 tracks at once. You don't have to do it now, you can do it later.
No, I get that, but I don't think I like this. I think I prefer to just have this one thing. If I want to EQ 2 tracks side by side, I will select 2 tracks and then hit F. But I kind of like having the chain over here. And when I do think that I need to see multiple effects on the chain, I can double click them.
Okay.
Yeah. And I would have to either use always the same plugins in the same order, or I would have to bring this up to see if I want plugin 2 or 3 anyway.
Okay.
Okay, so now this is the place where we think about that scoop that I did. Probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower. as you do is better for the environment, it's better for your electric bill, it's better for your skin. I think that I still need it, but it doesn't have to be so aggressive.
The problem with what you did there is that it's like minus 8 dB, so it definitely affects the balance of stuff. So if you just take it off, you need to do something about that. You know what I mean?
No, but I think I like it with this much of a scoop. It's better for your time, just try.
Yeah, what I'm saying is like you're married to this because it's a pretty extreme setting. If you take it off, you need to spend a good amount of time like rebalancing.
Fair point. But I do like what I have, so I'll take it. Let's go over for the compression on this instruments bus and see if we like it or not. And I'll go to a busy point in the arrangement. But we don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. It's now I think I like it better.
This is for all your instruments, right?
Yes. I think I like it. It's not doing a lot, but you have to have some SSL compressors here and there, so I have one. And then this was a trick that I learned from watching your stream way back. You were mixing one of your songs or working on one of those composition challenges, I forget. But you used this trick apparently by Andrew Sheps. And I wanted to do this here because I thought it would be fun. So what I do here is very slight, probably not even something you would hear, but I just saturate the whole mix and side chain, so to speak. I don't know. I did it. You probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower. But you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. As you do. I don't know what I'm doing, but I did it.
I like one of the knobs on that plugin says less and more.
Less and more. And the fun thing is that when you have more of it, it crushes down on the gain. So you have to like do something to compensate for that. It's not the best, I don't think, but I had it there. I was throwing things here and there to see what would stick. Now let's do this final one and maybe listen the whole way through and get out of here. Because I already did something here that is kind of okay. I played around with these bands, did minor adjustments that I liked. We may look at them. But I set the limiter and I looked at the loudness, and the loudness is okay. I even automated the loudness throughout the song to make sure that I would hear the differences that I wanted. Like I wanted this third chorus to be louder, that sort of thing. So all of this is done. I don't think we need to revisit that. Let's try to cross the finish line. I will be bringing this part, revisit these decisions, and look at the mix bus, or I guess the master compressor. As often as you do, you need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. Just as a whole, when I bypass the whole thing, I like what I hear. I guess I will take it. I'm not gonna tweak further. As you do. As often as you do, you need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. As you do, or as often as you do, you need to shower.
You know,
but you probably don't need to.
I know I said that I like the kick now, but I kind of went to not loving it again a little bit.
It is too loud, don't you think?
Oh, Kenny is here. Hi, Kenny. How you doing?
Hello.
Kenny says none of us know what we're doing. Yeah. If you, I get suspicious when people say they do. If I see someone who's like, oh, I know what I'm doing, I'm like, no, you don't. You're full of shit.
Let's do something to that kick. I think it's too loud. I don't love it. I probably did the pull tech trick here, so let's just dial it down a little bit. Showers of them as you do. Okay. Do you have anything else that you absolutely want to do, or let's give it a whole listen and then perhaps finish this?
I don't want to be that guy, but I do feel like after you did the bus processing, the balance is just very different now. So yeah, let's listen to it. Let's listen to it, and let's listen to it. It's just different.
To do a sound of great social and political import. This is a song about people in their third shower of the day. A song about people who shower before and after going out. This is a song about you. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. It's better for the environment. It's better for your electric bill. It's better for your skin. It's better for your time. Just try it, and you will see that you need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do.
First time I'm hearing that acoustic guitar line.
Yes, I too know people who go overboard with this. They stink. But don't be so afraid. Once a week may be too little, but there I say, once a day may be too much. Unless you've been exercising, or it's been a really hot day. Everybody now, you need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. As you do.
Mika doesn't like the snare, and I think I agree. I also think the bus compression that you did on the drums, you know how you took the kick out of the compressors, like out of the internal sidechain? I think you should take the highs out too, because I felt like right before we got into chorus 3, like right a couple of measures before, marker 7, I felt like the cymbals were just like pumping hard from the compression and it wasn't sounding great. And I think your snare, yeah, like he says it's very squashed. I agree. So I think that's one thing. And then I felt like at the very last chorus, the bass was a touch too loud, but I really like the tone of the bass. I don't know what you think about it. And I think there was in verse 3 or verse 2, I think in verse 3, there are some electric guitars that feel kind of buried, but maybe you like it that way. So if you do, I think good mix.
Okay, let's try to take care of this. I will start with some of my notes here. I only have 2 and they are about the bass. One is on measure 30. I, by the way, took notes of everything you said, and we'll address this before we wrap up, unless you have to go.
I can stay at 5 more minutes.
Okay.
Let's leave at 4:20.
Okay. Okay, we'll do this.
Great.
You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower. It was around the time, I didn't take note of the bar, but it was around the time you said bass, huh? It was just not working for me.
It was, I know where it is. It's on verse 2. You're talking about when the bass goes doon ding, doon ding. I think that's what you mean.
As you do, it's better for the environment. It's better for your life. It's just this one. It's just this one.
There's a frogginess to it.
It's better for your electric bill. Whatever. And the place where I made it loud about here, I made it too loud. Unless you've been exercising, or it's been a really hot day. Everybody now, you need to shower. Really hot day. Everybody now, you need to shower. Unless you've been exercising, or it's been a really hot day. Everybody now, you need to shower, but you probably don't need to. Everybody now, really hot day. Been exercising, or it's been a really hot day. Everybody now, you need to. Okay. That's good.
The drum compressor also, I feel like your threshold is catching too much of the stuff. Instead of taking off like the tops, it's really grabbing everything. Like in that tom passage, I feel like it's
okay. Okay. Really hot day. Everybody now, you need to shower, but it's been a really hot day. Everybody now, you need to should be good now, given that it's even not fully wet. And also you said that I should remove some of the high frequencies, and I can do that by doing this. Maybe that's too much, but let's hear a part where we have a lot of high frequency action on the drums. I think on this part, right? You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower. Maybe here. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. Yes, I do know. Does that help?
Too. Maybe the attack like can also go up a little bit. And when you adjust like the internal sidechain and the threshold and all that, then you gotta kind of reevaluate your attack release decisions too. As you do. Hey. Go to that unless you're exercising line again for the drums. It's a good part to evaluate. Unless you've been exercising,
Oh, it's been a really hot day. Everybody now, you need to shout.
Okay, the attack is way better. Mika says slower attack, faster release. Yeah, maybe the release can be a little slower. Or, sorry, a little faster. I guess you know the tempo of your song?
Yeah.
What is the tempo of your song?
140?
140. And your release is set to what, 428 milliseconds? 429. That's perfectly the length of a quarter note in your tempo. So not bad. Or maybe it can be like not an eighth. Maybe
Well,
it
I
can
just
be,
nudged this
16th.
parameter to get it there. And how did you make this math so fast?
It's 60,000 divided by BPM, and 60,000 divided by 150 is like about 4. And I do math in a very weird way. So I'm like, 140 is like a little less than 150. So that, like,
Impressive.
5%. And you get to round about the same thing.
Unless you've been exercising, or it's been a really hot day. Everybody now, you need to shout. Okay, so that was marker 7.
Beautiful.
Pumping from high frequencies on this bus compressor. On the last chorus, you said that the bass was too loud. Let's go there real quick. You probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. I like it there. How do you like it?
Okay.
And
yeah,
then,
I felt like there's like other elements there that can get more love. So.
And then you said that verse 3, the guitars were buried.
The electric guitars.
But don't be so afraid.
The ones that are on the left.
Once a week may be too little. But no, that's okay. I
like it?
I like
Okay.
them far.
Okay.
And then there is this snare that no one likes. So I guess that's going to be the thing that people are not going to like about the song, because our time is up. All right. Okay. I'm happy with the result. I think it's a lot better than when we started. And I think it's good enough. And on the next one, it will
You have
be
a
better.
snapshot of the start?
I don't have a snapshot of the start, but we can always go watch the stream from 2 hours ago. And I definitely will do that. And I guess that wraps it up. So I hope that with this, we inspired people to not shower today. And I'm going to wrap up, and you have to leave, right? Because it's 1:20 or 2:20.
Yeah. I just saw Jeremy. Sorry I missed your comment, but Jeremy came in and said the same thing with the bells and the strings and well, he didn't say the cymbals. But yeah, the bell, string, cymbal, guitar, like acoustic guitar situation bothers me a little bit, but like not like it's over. So whatever. It doesn't matter what bothers me.
We crossed everything. And I do agree. And I think it was a problem not with the mixing, but maybe with the arrangement. Because I just wrote too many parts for stuff that is in the same register. Well, you live, you learn, I think. So,
all right, everybody.
Yeah.
We will see you when we see you. We were gonna do a little chat but I think for a while I may not be able to do Tuesdays. Leandro, I'll be in touch with you on that.
Okay.
And pray.
And
maybe one Friday we can talk to X-Ray if X-Ray is down.
Okay, I'll let you figure out your situation in terms of availability, and then I'll let you get in touch with our guest and go from there. Arya, thank you very much for helping me out, and thank you everyone who was watching and commenting and making this song better.
Yeah, it's always fun to have y'all stay in school. You know, other things that are good. Hey,
Yeah,
buy Reaper. Reaper is not free.
true. And do you want me to play this once more, or should I just end the
Sure.
stream?
Yeah, let's play it instead of playing the last song.
Oh, okay. Well, I will do both, because when I go to the end of the stream song scene in OBS, it starts playing the song. But yeah, I'll play us out here. Bye. Thank you very much, everyone. I'd like to do a song of great social and political import. This is a song about people in their third shower of the day. A song about people who shower before and after going out. This is a song about you. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. It's better for the environment, it's better for your electric bill, it's better for your skin, it's better for your time. Just try it, and you will see that you need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. Yes, I too know people who go overboard with this. They stink, but don't be so afraid. Once a week may be too little, but there I say, once a day may be too much. Unless you've been exercising, or it's been a really hot day. Everybody now, you need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. As you do. Thank you for watching the stream, you know how great it has been. Or maybe it sucked, and I am glad that you stuck with me.